Hello, everyone. This is Andrea Lowe from Social Impact Studio Consulting, and I'm here with my colleague Sandhya Karki, and we're here to talk about the fifth of our five values here at Social Impact Studio Consulting, which is health, wellness, and rest. And really started the Social Impact Studio Consulting to support my health and emotional and physical health. Because I was the first person hired on to our organization, and why that was so important to me was honestly, I experienced a level of burnout when working full time. I worked for a number of years full time in different jurisdictions at state and local and federal level, doing policy work and program work, and just honestly got burnt out. And there were certain circumstances that happened in my life, like I had to move and some other things that really allowed me the space to be able to start our organization. And so in order to kind of continue and recognize I don't want to get burnt out again, I don't want to create that for others, health, wellness, and rest has become a value of Social Impact Studio Consulting. So the very essence of our organization is rooted in supporting our own health and wellness. And as a result, we take this very seriously and will prioritize times for our own health, wellness, and rest each week, as well as throughout the year. And because we believe the better that we are to ourselves, the better we can show up to our clients. So I'm going to turn it over to Sandhya to share a little bit about what this means to her and how it helps support our work at Social Impact Studio as well.
Thank you, Andrea. First of all, this is like my favorite value that we have within our organization because, like, a healthy team is better able to provide thoughtfulness and consistent to support to clients, right? And I appreciate that, like, rest is treated as an organizational value at Social Impact Studio rather than a personal afterthought. Because like social impact work can feel urgent, but constantly operating in urgency is not sustainable, right? Because taking care of ourselves is also part of being accountable to clients. Because when you are well rested, when you are, good at your health, better at your energy level and stuff, like you tend to communicate better, you tend to think like more clearly, and you produce like stronger and more quality work. So that's the skill that your client and your organization or like your community deserves, right? Is it too much
Mhm.
noisy, Andrea?
No, no,
Okay.
I think that makes sense, right? Like I feel like that's exactly what's important about this value. It's recognizing that when we show up best, we can give a better product. So it's, if that, so what I love about it is it allows us to work on the schedules that work best for us. And if you're not feeling well, or if we're not feeling well that day, then it's okay. Okay, let's see. Can we move some meetings around? Can we do some things that can really support that opportunity to step away? Take care of yourself, take care of whatever needs you need to take care of, and then come back to it as well. And I think in order to do that, it requires communication, not only with other team members, sharing that load. Maybe if there's a deadline that can't be moved, the other person can pick it up and support it, but then also communicating with our clients if we need to change some things around in order to make sure that we're giving them the best product possible.
Exactly. And I also want to like mention that like rest is not something people must earn only after becoming exhausted, right? Like sustainable work requires like boundaries, recovery, breaks, and awareness of like personal capacity. So I feel like prioritizing your wellness, like like throughout, like not just like when you're just like so exhausted, when you're just like so sick and like you're not at your better self, like waiting for that is not the key idea. You have to kind of like see it more from the preventive side as well, just like when you're prioritizing your wellness and your health, like you can include like taking breaks, right? Like using some time off, like setting some like realistic timelines, right? And then like focusing on your own personal like health, like exercising, spending time with family or like friends or your loved ones, and stepping away like when needed, because it is very very important to not wait until like last moment, because like because like at that time, like even from like the work side of like things, like let's say if you wait like way too much and you're just like so exhausted, and your recovery time is like more than like if you see it like from the preventive side, right? Because it takes like less time when you take like break and then like you're doing it like thoroughly, versus like when you are trying to like treat your exhaustion, or like you're trying to like treat your sickness, it takes like more time for the recovery. So it's better to kind of like continue taking care of yourself, continue like seeing like where, like feeling where you are at, and then like kind of like having that like realistic like timeline and like approach of your body and your mind and your soul, and also like communicating with your team as well, because like your team should like know where you are at, right? Obviously you don't want to like be like lost and be like bye bye to your team, but like rather like communicate with them and then like just tell them that like you're not feeling well, and like and which is something that I really really do. And then like Andrea, she understands like like my stand, and she helps me, like she encourages me to take rest even though I feel like I shouldn't, because I always feel like guilty a little bit here and there. But I feel like I am very very grateful and like lucky to be the part of like an organization where like it's a value, it's like non-negotiable, so I'm like always grateful for that part.
Yeah, and I to your point about feeling guilty, I feel like that's something that naturally I feel guilty about too. And so that's why I want it to be a value, is because, okay, well, maybe you feel a little guilty about it, but that's a value. So you know what? You should stop and rest. And I being able to lean on that as a value has been something that has allowed me to be like, oh, you know what? I got like a massive migraine. I need to stop today or something, or I just, it also it doesn't necessarily need to be sickness. It can be just time for vacation. Like we do close as a company at the end of the year for like 2 to 3, for I think close to 3 weeks. Um, just to give everyone rest, but then like, people take vacations throughout the year and that's expected and encouraged, and or else to go and do things that bring you joy as well is part of our wellness and opportunity for improved health and rest as well. So not necessarily just in a sickness way, but also in a space for joy and celebration too.
Absolutely. And I also believe that like in any organization, it's very important for like leaders of their organization, to kind of like vouch for like, healthy boundaries, because it makes it like safer for others, like, for its employee, or like for the people who are like working for their organization to do the same, right? Because like you learn from like your peers, you learn from your supervisor, so it's very important. And I feel like for that part, like social impact, study has been like amazing for that part, because like because it like rest can only improve like creativity, patience, decision making, and the quality of like client work. Because I feel like it just adds to the outcome of the work. So yeah, it's important, it's very very important.
Yeah, and to this kind of final point, I just wanted to add that this is something that we also, while we prioritize it internally, we also extend it to our like this level of grace to our clients, right? We can't control their holiday schedules or vacations or anything. We can't really do that. But we do, if a client calls like, hey, Andrea or Sandhya, I'm sick today, like I'm trying to keep this going, because I knew this is like, no, like it's okay. Like come back to it tomorrow. We'll be fine. We'll just adjust the timeline as we need it, as we need to, in order to support the work. We never expect our clients as well to work to the level of exhaustion in partnership with us to move something forward. And even if we're all passionate about the project, it will get done. We will get work on it, and that's where, back to another value of ours, we'll share the load, but also we want our clients to be healthy and well too. So we encourage as much as they can within their organizational limits to allow for that rest for themselves as well.
Absolutely, yes.
But I would love to hear, now's the time, if you watched our other videos, would love to hear in the comments what your thoughts are around health, wellness, and rest. We recognize that this is a value for our organization, but it's not necessarily a value for all organizations. Are you able to experience it? How do you experience it? What kind of resonates with you with this particular value, or what could, if you're a leader at an organization, how could you build this into your teams or your organizations as well? Would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below. And we have, and as we've mentioned in other videos, if you haven't watched them already, we have a total of 5 values. So there's 5 videos, one related to each value. So please check the other ones out. And we look forward to seeing you over there. Wishing you all a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone.